It's wild to say that out loud. Before stepping into the whirlwind.
In a dimly lit studio, a single spotlight falls on a piano, its keys worn from years of searching. Alicia Keys sits quietly, her fingers hovering above the ivory, her voice a whisper between strength and soul. "I've been trying to find my voice," she once said. "And maybe I finally have." But behind that calm presence lies a story of survival, a young girl raised in the chaos of Hell's Kitchen, New York, where sirens and dreams shared the same sky. A world that taught her to fight, to feel, and to turn pain into poetry. Before the world crowned her a queen of R&B, before Fallon echoed across radios, Alicia was just a teenager with a piano and a purpose. To be heard. How did a child of struggle transform into one of the most powerful voices of her generation? And what did she have to lose to finally be free? To understand Alicia Keys, we have to go back into where the music began. New York City, the heart of dreams and heartbreak. In 1981, in a tiny apartment in Hell's Kitchen, a baby girl was born to a young mother who refused to give up. Her name was Alicia Cook. The world would one day know her as Alicia Keys. Her mother, Teresa, worked 2 jobs, secretary by day, actress by night, to keep food on the table. Her father, Craig Cook, a flight attendant, drifted away when Alicia was still a child. So it was just the 2 of them, mother and daughter, facing the noise, the danger, and the loneliness of the city. Hell's Kitchen wasn't kind. Drugs, violence, and poverty surrounded them. But inside their small apartment stood one magical thing, an old upright piano by the window. It was chipped and out of tune, but to Alicia it was a universe. At just 7 years old, she began taking classical piano lessons. While other kids played outside, Alicia practiced Bach, Beethoven, and Chopin for hours. The piano became her diary, her way to speak without words. Teresa saw that spark and protected it fiercely. She said, "The world might be loud, baby, but your music will be louder." Every note Alicia played carried both pain and hope, the sound of a little girl building armor out of melody. It was here, in the heart of chaos, that Alicia learned her first truth. That music could be her shield, her weapon, and her freedom, and one day, that same little girl would turn her whispered dreams into a song the whole world would hear. By the time Alicia turned 14, she was already writing songs that felt older than her years, filled with pain, poetry, and power. At school she was quiet, the kind of girl who spoke more through music than through words. Her classmates saw a prodigy, but behind the scenes, Alicia was fighting a system that didn't quite know what to do with her. She graduated early from the Professional Performing Arts School in Manhattan, top of her class, armed with a demo tape and a dream. At 16, she signed her first record deal with Columbia Records, a moment that should have changed everything. But instead it almost broke her. Executives told her how to dress, how to sing, what to write. They wanted pop. She wanted truth. Her songs were too deep, they said, or too soulful for the radio, so she waited. And she wrote. Every rejection became fuel. When Columbia dropped her, most would have quit. Alicia didn't. She walked away with her songs, and her spirit intact. Then came Clive Davis, a legendary producer who saw what no one else did. He said, "You're not an artist I need to mold. You're already who you're meant to be." Under his guidance, Alicia found freedom. In 2001, her debut album Songs in a Minor was released, raw, emotional, and entirely hers. And when Fallen hit the airwaves, the world stopped and listened. It wasn't just a song. It was a statement. A declaration that real music, honest music, still mattered. Alicia Keys had arrived, and nothing in the industry would ever sound the same again. When Songs in a Minor hit the shelves in June 2001, it was like lightning in a quiet sky. The album was raw, soulful, unapologetically real, a young woman pouring her heart into every note. Her debut single, Fallen, climbed to #1, echoing from New York subways to concert halls across the world. And suddenly everyone wanted to know who this girl was, the one who played classical piano yet sang like her soul had lived 1,000 lives. At just 20, Alicia Keys swept the 2002 Grammys, taking home 5 awards, including Best New Artist and Song of the Year. She stood on that stage, tears in her eyes, clutching her mother's hand, whispering, "We did it." The world had crowned a new queen of R&B. Her success wasn't a trend, it was a movement. Alicia brought back honesty in music, bridging generations between old soul and modern rhythm. Her songs spoke of love and loss, strength and vulnerability. Every performance felt like a prayer, but fame is a double-edged melody. With every headline and photo shoot came expectations, perfection, poise, pressure. The media called her the next Lauryn Hill, the new face of soul. But Alicia wasn't trying to be anyone else. She was trying to stay herself. Behind the glamour, she worked tirelessly, sometimes 20-hour days, sometimes crying backstage, questioning if she still belonged to the music or if it now belonged to the machine. Still, she smiled, performed, and created magic that touched millions. Then, as the years unfolded, she continued to redefine what it meant to be an artist, collaborating with Usher on My Boo and later with Jay-Z on Empire State of Mind, turning her hometown into an anthem of resilience. From the streets of Hell's Kitchen to the top of the charts, Alicia Keys had done the impossible. She made the world feel again. Success can be a sweet poison, and for Alicia Keys, the higher she climbed, the heavier the crown became. She was everywhere, magazine covers, sold-out tours, Grammy stages, yet somewhere inside, she began to disappear. In interviews, her smile looked radiant, but her eyes whispered exhaustion. The industry that once celebrated her authenticity now demanded perfection. They wanted the flawless image, the perfect body, the constant hitmaker. Every photo, every performance, every breath was scrutinized. Alicia began to feel trapped in the very dream she had built. She later admitted, "I started losing myself trying to be what everyone wanted. I forgot what I sounded like when I was alone." And then came the headlines. Her relationship with producer Swizz Beatz ignited a firestorm, accused by tabloids of beginning while he was still married. The media called her a homewrecker, questioning her integrity, her womanhood, her truth. It was brutal, the kind of public shaming that could crush anyone, but Alicia didn't fight back with words. She fought with silence. She turned inward, meditating, journaling, playing piano late into the night. For a time she vanished from the spotlight, choosing peace over fame. Those years became her reckoning. She faced not just gossip, but her own reflection. Who was she when the lights turned off? A brand? A wife? A mother? Or still the girl from Hell's Kitchen who played the piano by the window? When she finally returned, she was different. Softer, stronger, and unapologetically real. She said, "You can't break something that's already whole. I just had to remember who I was." The world had seen her rise. Now it would witness her rebirth. By 2015, Alicia Keys had everything. Awards, respect, a family, and a legacy most artists could only dream of. But inside she still felt a quiet ache. The weight of pretending, the exhaustion of always being perfect. She realized she had been performing not just on stage, but in life, so she stopped. In 2016, Alicia made a decision that shook the entertainment world. She walked onto a red carpet without makeup. No foundation, no mascara, no filter. Just her, raw, unguarded, and radiant. "I don't want to cover up anymore," she wrote in an open letter. "Not my face, not my mind, not my soul." It wasn't rebellion. It was liberation. And it sparked a movement, the no-makeup revolution, inspiring women everywhere to embrace authenticity over perfection. At the same time, her music transformed. Her album Here, 2016, wasn't about commercial hits, it was about truth. The song spoke of race, love, motherhood, and identity. They were stripped down, just like her new self. She no longer needed the world's approval, only her own. Appearing as a coach on The Voice, she became a mentor and spiritual guide for young artists, encouraging them to sing their truth, not their fears. Critics said her glow had changed. It wasn't fame. It was freedom. Alicia had found what she'd been searching for all along, not the perfect image, but the power of being real. She said softly, "When I stopped trying to be everything, I became myself." And that's when the music got beautiful again. As Alicia Keys stepped into her 30s, she no longer chased fame, she embodied purpose. Her voice was no longer just an instrument of melody, but a vessel for truth. Through her songs, she spoke to the broken, the silenced, the unseen. Tracks like Superwoman, Girl on Fire, and Good Job became anthems of resilience, not just for women, but for anyone who had ever felt invisible. She wasn't preaching perfection. She was reminding people that vulnerability is strength. Beyond the music, Alicia turned her energy toward the world. She co-founded Keep a Child Alive, providing medicine and care for children and families affected by HIV/AIDS in Africa and India. She became a global ambassador for UNICEF, advocating for education and equality. Whether performing on world stages or quietly visiting orphanages, she carried the same message: every soul matters. In 2020, during global unrest and division, Alicia's voice returned as a steady heartbeat of compassion. She sang about empathy, forgiveness, and unity, offering light in a time of darkness. Younger artists like HER, SZA, and Jasmine Sullivan often call her their blueprint, proof that artistry can coexist with integrity. She opened doors for women to write, produce, and own their sound. In an industry built on image, she built hers on intention. Critics describe her legacy not in platinum records, but in peace. She changed what it meant to be a superstar, from shining above others to lifting others up. Her piano was never just an instrument. It was a bridge between generations, between pain and hope, between who we are and who we're meant to be. Alicia Keys didn't just sing for the world. She helped it breathe again. Away from the cameras, Alicia Keys found something even more precious than fame: peace. After years of chaos, criticism, and constant motion, she began to slow down, to listen not to the noise of the world, but to the rhythm of her own heart. Her marriage to producer Swizz Beatz became a source of grounding, not gossip. Together they built a family, 2 sons, Egypt and Genesis, and a home filled with art, laughter, and music. Alicia often says, "We're a house of creators. We build love like we build songs." She began prioritizing mindfulness, meditation, and stillness. The girl who once chased perfection now celebrated imperfection. In her book, More Myself, Alicia opened up about motherhood, insecurity, and healing, proving that strength doesn't come from control, but from surrender. She learned to set boundaries, saying no to the things that drained her, yes to the things that nurtured her soul. She painted, journaled, and raised her children with the same lessons her mother once gave her. The world might be loud, but your heart will always know the truth. Social media saw a new side of Alicia. No filters, no facades, just authenticity. Photos of her makeup-free mornings, messy hair, or jamming with her kids went viral. Not because she looked perfect, but because she looked real. Her message was simple: you can have power without losing peace. And somehow, in that calm, Alicia's music became even more powerful, softer, wiser, glowing with gratitude. She no longer performed to prove anything. She performed to give thanks. Alicia Keys had found her balance, not between fame and family, but between sound and silence. From the crowded streets of Hell's Kitchen to the grandest stages on earth, Alicia Keys' story is not just one of talent, it's one of truth. She rose from struggle, sang through pain, and built a life that echoed far beyond the music charts. She showed the world that strength can be soft, that beauty can be bare, and that the truest power comes from knowing who you are. Through every chord, every lyric, every silence between notes, Alicia taught us that authenticity is the real revolution. She once said, "The greatest gift you can give the world is to be yourself." Completely, and she meant it. Her voice became more than sound, and it became sanctuary. A reminder that even in the noise of the world, the soul still has its own melody. Alicia Keys didn't just find her voice. She gave it to us all.